Next time you're in Dollar Tree, head on over to their Crafter Square section.
Absolutely the perfect time of year to be picking up the wood pallets at Dollar Tree. If you are not grabbing these around the fall season, I don't know what you're waiting for. You can transform them into so many different things. And today we're going to be creating a raven decor piece with these. I probably should be using 6, but we're going to use 4 and make them a little stumpy. First things first, we're going to need to connect all these joints. So I laid them all out and then I grabbed my popsicle stick. Ooh, how many of you am I triggering right now? You know how many times over the years people are like, it's not a popsicle stick, it's a tongue depressor, it's a crafter stick. Guess what? Your opinion of what I call this is none of my business. And I'm gonna call it a popsicle stick. Now we're gonna take some of my Titebond Quick and Thick and smush it in between the connecting sections. And then I'm gonna trim my popsicle stick down into little bits and put it where I attach that Titebond Quick and Thick. And yeah, I had to go find all the pieces because they went flying. The hot glue helps me get that immediate hold and keep the popsicle stick pieces in place as the Titebond dries. This is just what works best for me. If you want to use a whole strip across the sections to keep everything together, by all means, you go right ahead. I've made probably 100 palette DIYs at this point after all these years, and this is just what works best for me. Paint it up with this black matte acrylic paint. You can absolutely use whatever you would like, and I am taking my water bottle and giving this a nice spritzy spritz. I prefer to wet my palettes down and then paint them. These things are a pain to paint, and it can take a lot of time because of all the gaps. Once the piece was dry, I grabbed some fabric and I grabbed 2 different colors. You could absolutely use one color if you would like. You could use burlap, you could use ribbon, whatever works best for you. But we're going to need first to make a hat, and then next we're going to make a little scarf. And I decided to just kind of use 2 patterns color wise that kind of complemented each other and frayed this one off. You can make your scarf as thick or as thin as you would like, and then I just tied it off to the side. When I was done, it was time to bring on in the stapler. You can absolutely glue your piece on if you would like. I mean, I like to staple things, so we're gonna staple them. I took this and wrapped it around the back of the palette. This way I could staple as much as I wanted all the way across, or not. Seriously? At this point, I felt like it was a little limp, you know. So I grabbed my good old friend, some messy moss. I mean, if you have filler, you know, or you have fabric or whatever in there, I happen to always have this stuff, miserable moss right next to me. Grab some of my twine, and then I decided to just tie a knot in the back. Now, the reason I did the hat and scarf first is because of this. I knew trying to put the face on here first before we put the clothes on might have not have worked out in my favor. So I put the hat and the scarf on and then sketched out the eyes and the nose and then brought on inner paint and decided to create some little black circles up in the corners. Then I came back in with my white paint and added some accents.
And then I finished this little guy off by adding a button on the hat and some messy moss.